light on so I can see here. I'm going to read from John chapter 12, the first 8 verses. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus arrived at Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, who was later to betray him, objected. Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief, and as keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it. Leave her alone, Jesus replied. It was intended that she should give this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. So, Harry met Sally at a party. And he didn't just meet her, it was eye contact from across the room. If you was to ask Sally about it, she would tell you that Harry was looking at her like this. And if you was to ask Harry about it and he was being honest, he'd tell you that Sally was looking back at him like. But Harry couldn't get Sally out of his mind. So he crashed a second party, and then he hosted a third party just so that he could be around her. Well, he worked up the nerve and asked her out, and they decided to go for a drive in the countryside and have a picnic. And he showed up on the day that they were supposed to go out. He showed up to her house with his most prized possession, 1968 Camaro SS. Black on black, raised 3 inches so he could put a bigger set of tires and wheels under it and wouldn't rub when it bounced in the road, you know. Had a 350 with the 4-speed, but the 350 had a stroker kit, so it was really a 383. Had a 4-barrel and a cam that had just enough duration and lift to make it rumble or skip, you know, at idle. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and then, you know, when Harry would slip that clutch, push on that pedal, boy, it'd send him back in that seat. Harry loved that car. He washed it and waxed it and washed it again, and people would tease him saying, you're going to wash the paint off that car, Harry. And other people would walk down the road, and they swore that they saw him hugging and kissing on that car, going, oh, baby, I can't wait to drive you again, baby. Well, Harry and Sally became sweethearts. But there was a problem. Before Sally had met Harry, she had pledged to be a missionary in South America. So the day came when she had to leave, and Harry took her to the airport in the car and dropped her off. They said their goodbyes. 5 months later, Harry couldn't take it anymore. He got on an airplane, flew down to South America, and proposed to Sally. You know what the best thing about that story is? That he sold that Camaro so that he could afford the ticket and the ring. And to Sally, it wasn't that he sold the car to come down there. It was that he had proved himself to her how much he loved her. Now, if you was to ask Mary one time in her life what the most precious thing that she had, she probably would have showed you that jar of perfume. But if you was at that party and saw her pour that perfume on Jesus' feet and then wipe his feet with her hair, you would have saw that Jesus was the most precious thing in her life. So I guess my question tonight is Jesus the most precious thing in your life? And if he is, can other people see it? Let's think about that as we sing these next songs.